Hello, everybody. My name is Matthew White, coming to you from Ingram Micro's Business Transformation Center. And today we're going to be talking to you a little bit about Cisco's PSTN. So, what is Cisco's PSTN? Why do you want it? So, when people started moving to the cloud, they wanted things that were easier to consume. They wanted things that were just simplified. That's where Cisco's PSTN kind of comes into play. So in the past, if you were purchasing Cisco's Webex Calling, you might have been looking at either bringing your own PSTN and having like a 4K router, or maybe you were looking into a cloud connected PSTN from a third party provider and you had to deal with multiple bills coming into your end customer. Where in Cisco's PSTN simplifies all that. It allows you to source everything from Cisco and actually get both your actual Webex calling interface and the software that actually sends your calls where they need to go, and the actual numbers and the PSTN piece of it all through Cisco. So let's take a little bit of a closer look at this. So if you're doing outbound, you're talking about calling out from your organization out into the greater world. That's called your outbound calling plan. So each user or device that wants to place external outbound calls would be included in this number. So whether that be the actual users themselves, whether that be a common area phone, or even like a room kit that's going to be dialing externally, you would want to make sure that you're including that in that number. Now, as far as your inbound, that's all done through the telephone number piece of the plan. So if you have like a DID set up for an auto attendant, or if you have a DID or direct inward dialing number set up for any individual users, or maybe even like a fax line, you would want to have those telephone numbers as well, so that way people can communicate into your company. Now, you don't have to have a telephone number for every single user. You could choose to have that go to an auto attendant and then just use extensions to dial out to the actual users. But you do need some of them, like the actual main auto attendant, or even just the one that's tied into your voicemail. So those are ones that you're wanting to think about when you're thinking about the telephone number. Now, the outbound calling plan portion is actually ordered through CCW, where the telephone number portion is actually going to be done completely in Control Hub. So it simplifies it even further. People want additional numbers. It's very easy. They can request them themselves, and you can just go through that process. Now, if there's international calls, that's changes based off of price, I should say, changes based off of where the people are going to be located that they're placing the calls to. And if they're going to be placing calls to multiple countries, then you're going to want to actually take a closer look at that and see how much they're going to be charged per minute for those international type calls. Now, if we take a look at the actual pricing, you can see here that if a customer is doing the outbound calling plan, there is a little bit of a variance depending on if they're doing an enterprise agreement or not. In most cases, enterprise agreements actually come in at a lower cost for a lot of the pieces of the solution, but require a 250 user count or higher to actually apply for the enterprise agreement. So if they're going to be doing that larger number of users, then you're going to have that lower price point per user per month as well. So the 250 per user per month. Where if you're going to be doing like a named user offer, that's going to be that $3.50 per user per month as well. Now, if somebody's doing like an A work plan where they can scale up, scale down on a daily basis, and they're doing uncommitted users for that, then they can also do uncommitted users for the actual calling plan as well. So if they have a person that's only working half the month, they don't get charged for the complete month. They would only get charged for half the month. So that would be that $2 per user per month for that uncommitted portion of the plan for that uncommitted user. And that's charged on a 13 cents per user per day basis. And then you have your telephone numbers as well. So those are your direct inward dialing numbers, and that's $1 a month or 3 cents per user per day. And then you have your international calls, which, like I said, those are based off of a larger table, which you'd want to ask Cisco for help on that one, figuring out the price points that you should be looking at. So why are we doing this? So just like in a whole bunch of other situations, Cisco is trying to simplify the conference room. So as you can see here, we have a projector up on top, we have a whiteboard on the right-hand side, we have a dry erase board, we have a projector screen, a TV on a rolling cart with a webcam on top. Maybe that's a touch screen, maybe it's not. And then you have even a phone right there sitting on the table. So if we move ahead and look at how Cisco is envisioning this room, and this is the way they've been envisioning it now for a while, is simplifying all this stuff. So you no longer have all that other whiteboarding and everything going on in the room because this WebEx board can do all that. So it's simplifying it all down to one piece of technology, which is much easier to consume, much easier to learn. And then even things like the conference room phone that was sitting on the table, that's been removed as well because now you can actually place full outbound PSTN calls through the WebEx board. And now you've been able to do that for a while, but you've always had to get a separate bill from another provider and actually get those lines tied into WebEx Calling to be able to do that. Where now it can be all one bill, all from Cisco, and you don't have to look elsewhere to accomplish that. And you really simplify the solution for the customer. You'd be surprised how many customers out there have a room system, and then on top of that, they've used a conference phone to do their dialing out. And that's just because they don't understand or don't know that they can actually incorporate that into their conferencing system, which often has a very good microphone setup for the room that they're in already. Now, what can you use this with? You've got a couple different options. So you have things like the WebEx phone, which is a new product that just came out in January. You have the WebEx Desk camera, which is a USB camera that can tie into pretty much any computer. And even the Desk Hub, which is coming out later this year, or the Desk that's coming out later this year, or even the Desk Pro that's already out. All these devices are connecting through the web. And while they connect in through that, they can also connect in through the internet to Webex Calling to do the outbound calling plan as well. So as long as you have them on your Wi-Fi, you're connecting out. Obviously with the Webex Desk camera, you're connecting into a PC, which is then connecting to the Wi-Fi. But those all then give you that ability to do your outbound calling through that as well. So not only can you use them for video conferencing, then you can also use them for just standard audio conferencing. Now, if you're looking at some of the older equipment, say you've had stuff around for a while, or even just are looking to implement something new in the conference room that maybe those other devices that just came out don't fit into, let's say we're talking like the Webex Room Kit or the Room Kit Pro, or even any of the Webex boards, like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, those are also solutions that you can use this with. So we're just using common area licenses for those devices. And then from that, you can actually tie it into the Webex audio piece for Webex calling and actually get your outbound PSTN as long as you've incorporated it into your CCW quote. So let's take a look at some questions that I've had in the last couple months that people have been asking me. So can I purchase a Cisco PSTN for both an A-Work and an A-Flex subscription? What do you think the answer is to that? Yes. So anything that has the A-Work or A-Flex offering A-Flex 3, if you're doing the Gov solution, if you're doing A-Flex 3 for education, that's all those you can get Webex's PSTN or Cisco's PSTN for that solution as well. So who does a customer reach out to if they need help getting a PSTN from OneStream Network? So if you have a PSTN provider, either it's a cloud provided customer or if it's a on-prem solution, so say they're going through a 4K router and they're going to be connecting that, then you can still reach out to those people directly. So in this particular case, if you're getting it through OneStream, you would reach out to OneStream to get that support for your needs on the PSTN side. However, if you're going to be looking for information on Cisco's PSTN, that's where you're going to reach out to Cisco. So they have a dedicated group. It's called PSTN Technical Services or PTS. And their information, I've actually put it together for you here, is listed right here. So you can open a case with them online. You can call their regular 1-866 number, or you can even email them at pstn-support@cisco.com. So another question that you may have been asking yourself is how is he creating this presentation? This doesn't look like the normal WebEx solution that you might be recording, or even just some other recording program that you've seen out there. So if you haven't seen this program yet, this is actually a program called Prezi. I'm giving you a little bit of a sneak peek at this. So this is something that's coming to Cisco relatively shortly. It'll be available through CCW and Cisco's global price list. And you'll actually be able to add this on as an additional piece to your WebEx customers. So if they're purchasing WebEx, they can purchase this on top of it, and it allows them to create recordings like this. It also allows them to actually present into a video call using these type of advanced technologies. So no longer do you need to have a separate box which has all your slides in it and then your little picture up at the top. Now you can be part of your presentations as I am here.